Hello, SpeedGaming 3. Welcome to another fantastic Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide race here on this Wednesday evening. I'm joined in the booth with Boo. We are here to have a little bit of fun with a spoiler seed for the Tournament of the Month. It is a monthly tournament that one of our admins, Double Down, hosts, every month. This month, the theme for it is a spoiler log. It's a pretty normal seed otherwise. 7 characters and 10 espers instead of the more standard Ultros League 6 and 9. But the big trick is that they all know everything that's in the seed. Every single chest, every single check, which bosses are getting replaced with other bosses, which dances they start with and what they do, all of it. So this is going to be pretty exciting. So Boo, how do you feel about this tonight?
Well, I love a routed race. It kind of shows off your ability to pick the fastest thing, because it's not always just line up the rewards you want and go. Sometimes they come with longer checks. Sometimes there are better rewards, etc. But the big thing they're going to have to watch out for.
Whoop. I think we're having a little bit of audio problems there. Let's see if we can't get that locked down. Sorry about that.
And so, I believe it starts at, I want to say, 12, 13 bosses. As soon as they start getting into that range, there are objective rewards, so to call them, that'll start adding boss levels, start adding levels to the Finally Kefka, adding dragons, etc. So they're going to need to try to minimize their boss killing while maximizing XP. So it should be interesting to watch.
Yeah, this is pretty interesting. I haven't personally ran a spoiler seed myself, but from the sound of it, like, all the work is at the beginning. You know, you have to plan everything ahead of time, and then stick to a plan. Like, there's really not a whole lot of improvisation involved in this. You kind of know exactly what you want to do going in, and the deviation would be individual runners having like a preference. Like you, for example, I know that you are not a big fan of fixed dice, so if there is a fixed dice somewhere in the seed, you would probably avoid that.
Definitely would avoid that. Well, I might pick it up to sell.
Right, hey, it's good money.
But that doesn't mean you're encounters what. So we may see some checking of that, but it's fairly trivial.
I think I'm not sure if this is happening on the stream, but I am having a little bit of trouble. You're kind of cutting in and out a bit.
Well, I'll see what I can do.
But sorry, I guess it's not terribly helpful. But we are off. It looks like Zenobian is heading into Narsh to pick up the chests there. Meanwhile, Gar is running over to... Oh, he's running back. Everybody's at Narsh. Must be something good there. So there is a big spoiler log, and we do have access to it. I'm going to do my best to reference it as we go along. But we're all kind of pulling double duty. The Schwantz runner down there in the bottom left, he is also running. He ran the restream, and Boo and I are handling some tracking along the way. So we might have to ask you guys about a little bit of help. And yeah, that was a Ragnarok over there in Zenobian. That makes sense. That's why they ran into this cavern here. All right, so lots of stuff at Narsh, and they're all taking different routes around Narsh, which is pretty interesting. Like they're all essentially hitting the same places, but oh, whoop! Gar pick up a Mog that I missed? I mean, I'm assuming yes, since Lone Wolf has been activated. I don't believe this is open world, so that... Aha! Yes, he must have gone to Kolingen. I saw it on Zenobian's side as well. So that is a good one. Mog is, he's got natural spears, spear equipping. So if you find a decent spear, you can turn him into a pretty good Dragoon. And his checks at Narsh are particularly good. The Moogle defense was added recently. That that little part in the beginning where you're rescuing Terra from the Narsh guards, and that really increased his ability to his quality as a pick, at least checks wise. Having access to him allows you to do a big bunch of checks up in Narsh, usually all at the same time, depending on what you wanted to do. As Gar finishes up Narsh, Zenobian climbing up Mount Zozo, and Schwantz going to Evil Narsh. Pop open the weapon shop here. Oh, wow! Why remove? Okay, that makes sense. Why remove is on. That's why they can. He didn't find a lock that I didn't notice. Good to know. All right, Gar doing some shopping. Picked up a white cape. That's kind of interesting. Look forward to seeing what he does with that. Zenobian grabs a Magicite from the top of Mount Zozo.
Is that any better?
Yes.
Oh. Guess we'll try turning it off and back on again.
Hey. The IT's trick.
Yeah. So we've got Ragnaroks, we've got Mogs. Am I up to speed?
Yeah, just about. Gar just found a chainsaw. It's pretty neat.
Cool. So there's a question in the chat from Ollie BP, I'll say. So how does it work exactly? Do they need to do story stuff? Yes and no. So this is an open world randomizer. So most of the story elements have been cut out. Like all the cutscenes and 95% of the cutscenes and dialogue have been cut out. But all of the checks, so they're called, the way they're going to progress is by finding characters and espers throughout the game, and those are still tied to the story elements. For example, Gar is there in the Returner's hideout. He could go south and do Elite River, which would have a reward at the end. He's not going to do that because that's a terrible check and nobody ever would in a routed race, but he could.
Yeah, I guess unless there's something really cool at the end of Elite River, which we can check. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, Elite River. Oh well, I don't think they have Terra anyway, so they can't do it. But
oh yeah, you're right.
The Zone Seek Esper. So for those just joined, this is a routed race. All the runners have a spoiler log, which contains all of the info about the seed in there, so they got a chance to create their route beforehand. So everybody knows what they're doing. They know exactly where they're going. This is kind of an anomaly for what we do in the community. It's usually, you go in blind and you just have to figure it out. But in this particular race/tournament, this is a spoiler race.
Yeah, not a lot of room for improvising, really. Everybody kind of knows exactly what they're going to be doing, and they're following a pretty set route. And of course, these guys are also the finalists of this tournament of the month, so they're all, pretty quality racers. They have tons of experience in this game under their belt, so they are all hitting a lot of similar spots, not necessarily in the same order, but like for example, we see Zenobian over there also going to Nikia and talking to the obnoxious little relic kid, which is a spot you wouldn't necessarily go to in a normal thing unless you happen to go through the Serpent's Trench.
Right, and so this is the one where auto mute is on?
Let me check.
I'm in 2 tournaments at the same time. I can't
there's a lot.
If we go to our spoiler log, yes, auto mute isn't until they kill 19 bosses. So
Okay.
I'm not too sure why Zenobia picked up 4 white capes. Or maybe he's going to bet them at the Coliseum.
Oh yeah, man, yeah, that is another piece of information that is normally you don't have.
Let's find out. White capes. Ah, yes. So white capes. Well, I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't spoil it for the viewers and let them watch it unfold naturally. But we'll just say we're going to the Coliseum.
All right. So both Zenobian and Gar picked up Mog. I haven't noticed if Schwantz got a character. I should have been paying attention for going into the Celeste check, but unfortunately I missed it.
Oh, right. The whole tracking thing. I'll open it right now.
So yeah, Dagroth from the chat talking about earrings instead of white capes. As Saberwolf mentions, earrings increase your magic power, and it's not increasing the stat. It is a flat buff that is applied after a bunch of other stuff. So having 1 earring on increases all of your magic damage by 25%. Having 2 earrings on increases it by 50%. And a surprising number of things utilize magic. Basically, nearly everything that doesn't involve direct, like, weapon to monster interactions actually use magic power instead, like a lot of Saban's blitzes, for example.
I think I heard while I was futzing around with my... That was futz with a TZ. Futzing around with my headset, I think I heard you talking about a Dragoon build. I just saw somebody pick up a Dragon Horn.
I was thinking with Mog, at least. Since he can naturally use the spears, you know, and you probably know where an Aura Lance is, since you have access to all this.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see if they go ham with that, or perhaps it's a Phoenix Esper for Gar. Ooh, Phoenix will be popular here because I think we also forgot to mention, or at least I did, that this is a permadeath flag set.
Oh yes, Life and Life 2 are not learnable, and there will be no Phoenix Downs.
I think they start with 5, so they have a little leeway, but they won't be anywhere in the sea. So once, let's see, they start with 6 Phoenix Downs. So once they expend those, you're out of luck. So Phoenix has been modified in this flag set, so when permadeath is on, Phoenix casts Life 3 instead of Life 1.5. So it's incredibly helpful in permadeath sea.
Yeah, arguably better than the regular Phoenix Esper.
Yeah.
Oh yes, story events that can reset the party. There are, I believe those are disabled on this. I know that there's a couple of no-nos.
Yep, they usually do in the vanilla game. You could either hit the bucket, you could hit the tent, you could go into the airship, or even something like changing your party in the airship or going into the Phoenix Cave, something like that will all usually revive you, but we've taken all that stuff out. So our latest exploit was dying and then starting another Coliseum fight would revive you, but that's been patched out too.
Hey, okay. We're finding them.
There really is no way to revive yourself anymore other than the starting Phoenix Down.
I do believe the Life 3 spell is still available, but, everybody knows where Phoenix is, so they're definitely going to go get that instead.
Yeah, Life 3 counts. So it's only if you don't plan ahead. So the statuses that can kind of count as death, like Petrify and whatnot, those are still curable.
Yeah, Zombie does not count as a death, which is very convenient.
It's like Schwantz took a stroll all the way through an inactive collapsing house, I think just to grab some fixed dice.
Yeah.
All knows a huge mistake.
And
our Zenobia going to the Coliseum now.
And something interesting that I didn't think of, but now looking at the spoiler log is pretty obvious. They know what items are in each area, but they don't necessarily know which chests have those items. Like Schwantz did pick a bunch of different chests to try to find the fixed dice. Unfortunately, found it in like the second to last one.
Yeah. It's like Zenobian's grabbing cat hoods. Best headpiece in the game, arguably. There's not too much competition.
Yeah, helmet isn't a good slot. Cat hood's got elemental resistances, plus it gets you a bunch of gold to play around with.
And I believe, if I recall correctly, that everybody can equip everything in this flag set too. I think restrictions are off in terms of equipment, so we can have 4 cat hoods and 4 people with guns.
Well, that's fun. That kind of makes sense with the sort of the spirit of this game. It's, you know, I guess trying to figure that would also be a very much longer spoiler log, is having a list of what everyone is capable of equipping.
Right.
Gar finding the stray cat.
I wonder. That's interesting. Does anybody have that? That we'll talk about that later. It could be also. Oh, Zenobian's getting quaked here. That's probably not going to do well for him unless he happens to equip that here. Nope. But it could be that he might just be farming cat hoods to sell them. Maybe there's something great in a shop somewhere, and he just needs a lot of money. I'm not sure yet.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's another fun aspect of this, is that we have access to all the information, but we don't have access to their plan of how they're figuring out, what how they're figuring out what they actually want to do from step to step. We just know, what we would take, which, for example, as was just mentioned in the chat, experience eggs for those white capes.
Another question in the chat: are there any fixes applied to the randomizer? Yes, most all of the big, marquee bugs have been patched. You do have the option of turning those fixes off if you still want to play with like the evade bug, for instance, but most of those are disabled, so everything works as it should. Also, things like undead bosses. Ooh, Zenobia getting quaked again. Let's round them up. Looks like me in the Coliseum. Oh, but he must have equipped some force gear or something that allowed him to pick up that Minerva.
Yeah, his Mog turns out his Mog wasn't wearing anything.
Oh, well that doesn't help.
Wow, really aggressive chicken lips.
Luckily, every time you start the Coliseum fight, it heals you to full. So at least you don't have to worry about healing in between. Though you can see the difference in strategy here. We'll see if Gar goes to... I think he's going there right now. Yep, I was going to say, Zenobia's spending a lot of time in the Coliseum, really stocking up while Gar was doing some checks and stuff. Looks like Gar is following right behind him as I open my mouth, but we'll see how long he spends in here. There's those white capes for experience eggs I was alluding to earlier.
Yeah, Schwantz is picking up a bunch too.
Yeah, probably pick up a few of those, I would guess. Although some of these items in here are not really a trap, but it can be dangerous. Like you can spend a lot of time in the Coliseum getting stuff you don't necessarily need. Like 1 XP egg is probably good enough. You could definitely get 2. But I would, caution against sitting here for 10-15 minutes just really loading up, and somebody maybe moving on. But it looks like everybody kind of has the same plan as of right now. See if Mog survives this quake for Schwantz. New.
Yeah, everybody has the same plan, and everybody's kind of getting the same luck going into this into the Coliseum. They all want to shore up a bunch of their equipment, but they keep running. Like Gar a moment ago died to an exploder from the junk.
Yep. And I noticed he reset out, so they have a limited number of items they're betting. They don't want to lose any. And it looks like he forgot to save right in front of the Coliseum.
Oh, fighting this Dante for a quick Illumina. That's not a bad idea. It's a better weapon than the Ragnarok. You can pop yourself in the back row. You get that Pearl proc sometimes.
It always hits. It's the big one.
Oh, yes.
Illuminas cannot miss.
Speaking of, fixed dice also have that property, which Schwantz used to great effect to, I believe, get everything out of the Coliseum that he wanted.
Let's be clear, though. Fixed dice miss all the time. just with tiny little numbers. I hate that.
I don't like him as much as I used to. I'll grant you that, but they've, I don't know. They're
I'm following for sure.
they have a strong presence in a cinematic sense.
It is strange they call them fixed dice. You'd figure they'd come up with a good number every time if they were indeed fixed. But for me, they come up with just ones.
And it's kind of a misnomer. Ooh, Gar running into the Rhinox for this particular Coliseum fight, who really does not care about getting hit with a physical attack. Oh, there's Shock.
Quick offering. So it looks like Schwantz has moved on. We're doing the Doma Siege check. Fighting number 24. So looks like Zenobian is hot on his heels. There must be something good here at the Doma Siege. Let's find out.
It is an Edgar. I'm assuming there's something good. Maybe there's something good past one of Edgar's checks.
Oh, my bad. I thought they already had Edgar.
Oh,
yeah, and this is,
they do already have Edgar.
It's for Golem, so that'll get them their calmness protection. So I just wanted to take a reset. Something didn't go right. So number 20, the big thing number 24 can do, and maybe this is what happened or not, I'm not sure, but he can do overflow, which will muddle some of your party, and it usually always happens right after you queue up a devastating attack.
Yeah, maybe
Shock
Mog.
the whole party. You can ultimate your whole party if you're really lucky. Yeah, that's what happened. Thanks from the chat. Got overflow shock.
Yeah, Gar also picking up some cat hoods.
Schwantz using those fixed dice and jumping with the dragon horn to nice effect there, taking out number 24, and Zenobian hot on his heels.
Yeah, wow, Schwantz, even with a reset, still kept ahead of Zenobian going through this check.
Let's see how many whispers I missed for. He's just got the one. Alright, cool.
Oh, Gravity Rod also gives you lots of experience eggs in the Coliseum.
Wow.
Now, that's interesting. I would have, maybe the shops just aren't up to snuff, because I would have imagined that would be the play, since it's a little bit more easy to guarantee what you're going to get.
Well, let's take a peek here.
Looks like Schwantz is heading into Dark Doma, take a nap. Ignoring all of the chests along the way, just headed straight in, while Zenobian is going to go fight himself a dragon.
Yep, so no XP eggs, Illuminas, or offerings for sale anywhere. So
Well.
they'll do it the hard way.
Yep, that'll do it. No junk could use Pep Up. That's a weird one.
That's a good one to find in the Coliseum. Thorn Dragon giving Zenobian the business.
Yeah, it came about half damage on everybody. Fortunately, his defense is super high.
Tron's taking on Rexall in Sign's Dream here, just a little bit out of French vanilla, I think they call this. Worth pointing out to anybody in the chat who may be unfamiliar, Zinger is turned off, so Rexall won't do his vanilla strategy of what do you call it?
Oh, and he like possesses a character, and you have to knock him out. And
That's the one. Yeah, you can turn that back on if you want, but there's too many situations in a randomizer where you can basically get soft locked, so we kind of have that off by default.
I think a good majority of all the bug fixes and changes like that are toggleable in the randomizer, which is kind of neat.
Yeah, although I guess I would argue in a plan build like this, they should probably be on, so you can account for them.
Yeah, it would be easier in this one than in a regular randomizer. Although it probably would just result in everybody ignoring Rexol.
Check, yeah. Possibly. Depends on what's here. What is here? Let's find out.
We can learn. Gar going through the Figaro Cave to get a Yeti at the end of it, which is kind of interesting. Maybe the Yeti check also serve him pretty well. It's with something like the Yeti, he's not as bad of a character as the memes make him out to be, but if you can pick, you're probably not going to pick him.
Right. If you have your choice of 14 characters, he's number 14 on my list.
Yeah, probably.
It's just, there's just too many situations where you need to be able to target things and not attack sometimes. He does have great stats, at least physical, but yeah, not in the first choice. So I'm guessing his check has something good. What are the requirements for the seed? So they need to find 7 characters and 10 espers. If they want to skip part of Kafka's Tower and go straight to the statue fights, they'll have to get either an extra 2 characters or an extra 2 espers.
Yeah, a little bit higher than normal, but to be expected considering you know exactly what's coming up. Both Gar and Zenobian neck and neck here underground. Taking the same route while Schwantz is going off the path here through the dream.
Like Gar's making use of that stray cat rage.
Yeah, that was interesting too. Does he have he must have sniper or something on to get that critical hit thing.
Yeah, it wasn't sniper. The animation was different. It wasn't a Hawkeye.
It looked like he was throwing a sword, but I wonder if that's just the new weapon that Rage, like the new weapon animation that Rage gives you. Like playing funny with what he had equipped.
Yeah, perhaps. Maybe he has a luminous to spare, so he's just using luminous.
So yeah, Gar and Zenobian both getting their 5th character.
So, the Ghost Train fight, people from Vanilla know you can drop a Revivify or a Phoenix down on them and they'll instantly die, but we've turned that off too. So undead bosses can't be undeadified anymore, but they still, at least in Ghost Train's case, can be instant death.
Yeah, just the way that they program the resistances, some of the undead bosses... some of the undead bosses just resist the status ailment instant death, but then other ones don't, which creates a very funny image when you cast Doom on Ghost Train and you pull the train's soul out of its body.
I'm not sure there was a way to even cast any sort of instant death on the Ghost Train in the vanilla game, so I don't know if they just didn't account for it.
I mean, from what little I know about how these things were programmed, that would save a bit for them to spend somewhere else.
I guess so.
Yeah, both Gar and Zenobian heading down into the ancient castle. Let's see what they find down there.
Schwantz is headed there next. Oh, I didn't see what Schwantz picked up off the throne, so let me check the log here.
Oh, I think that was Phoenix.
It was Shiva and Bahamut.
Oh, out of different throne. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, the throne at the end of the Cyan's Dream, which was actually the throne was a dragon horn. I'm assuming he skipped it since he already has one, but maybe he didn't. But he got 2 Espers out, so that's interesting. Those must be some tasty espers. They have some good spells or bonuses because he just did a 3-part check where one of the parts was dead. So
I believe Shiva has a strength buff on it.
we have Tricock down there.
Oh, Ice 3 on Shiva, I guess. Gar going after that blue dragon.
Yeah, there must be some good bonuses. This is not a fast check. It's not one that people normally do when they don't know what's coming. So there must be a really good reward for all three of them to do it this early. So I'm assuming there's probably some mage power or maybe some 100% HP, something like that. I'm pretty sure I saw on Gar's screen there, Mog hit 0 HP and instantly pop up back to 4.
Oh, there he went again.
I think it was 8 to 4. Like a 0.
Yeah, seizure is kind of pretty dangerous in a permadeath seed. And I am not very good at scrolling this scrolling this thing and talking at the same time. I'm gonna do my best. Got a Genji armor. Genji, excuse me. A very nice item to sell. And he's taking that death too. Mog went down. He can obviously, spend a Phoenix down to save some time. That's not a terrible use of it, considering he does have Phoenix, so in more dire situations he has an easier way of keeping his characters up.
But he doesn't get that XP from the dragon.
Oh, that's true.
But it is faster, for sure. And so with XP eggs, he may not care, because if everybody's got an XP egg, he's probably going to hit Kefka at level 50. So.
Right. Zenobian finding some reach frogs, which is not a bad fight. Bunch of experience points, money, magic points. All around good fight.
So Schwantz must have picked up that Esper from the throne just then.
Yes, that's where the Phoenix Esper was. Yeah, there goes Zenobian heading up the mountain behind Narsh. Gonna fight Tritok and presumably do the Yeti check.
Yep. Dragon to fight, I'm sure. So just in somebody who hasn't seen a spoiler log that this game generates, it will tell you what all the treasure is in every location, or in every check, but it doesn't tell you which chest is which. So unless you memorize the order, and some checks have 10 to 15 treasure chests in there, that's why you're walking around seeing them hit a bunch of empty chests, because there must be something good there, but they don't know exactly what it is.
Oh yeah, because all the chests are technically in order from 1 to 254 or whatever.
Right. But how they're labeled isn't necessarily the order in which you find them.
See, I did take a peek at the spoiler log to see what Gar and Zenobian are after, and I approve. It's a good call.
Picked up his trike.
Gar taking on the Ice Dragon. Maybe wants to get a little bit of extra experience for Mog here.
One of the easier dragons for sure, but that end cross certainly can be annoying.
Yeah, getting frozen's no fun.
Zenobian picks up his warship. Yeah, the Yeti check definitely offers something delicious to go through a dead check
Ah, oof, there goes Mog again.
He's probably going to want to find some defense. I guess I'll pick up a, well, I don't remember which screen it was, so I picked up a Behemoth suit, which I believe offers the second most physical defense in the game, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, that sounds right. Certainly up there.
Looks like they learned quick. I think I saw that being learned. So
Yeah.
Probably one of the spells that are after earlier. Ah, Realm is the murder child. In the Yeti Cave. Very nice.
Gotta go through Dullahan for it, but that's not too terrible of a boss, especially with, oh yeah, wow, especially with the equipment and levels that Zenobian has.
Beefy stats. Dullahan is one of those bosses you don't want to find early. He's usually a pushover late, but he can cast Pearl even as low as level 3. So he can one-shot your party members if you find him as your first or second boss. But at this stage in the game, not.
Schwant's taking his trip through Figaro Castle. Seems like he's finished up there. Yeah, wow, Cat Scratch. Gar has had a few setbacks, but Cat Scratch is still doing almost 6,000-7,000 damage a turn.
Doing the work.
It's a good move.
Let's see, we have realms replacing some. I didn't see what the command realm is.
Yeah, I'm not finding it on the spoiler log either, so I guess we'll get to have a fun surprise when she gets in. Maybe she has lore or something cool. I don't believe is Magitech turned off?
I'm gonna have to check, but I can tell you what she has here in a second, as soon as I can locate it. Which becomes Magitech.
Aha! So a slight change to the way Magitech works in Worlds Collide. You start off with the Fire, Ice, and Bolt Beams plus Heal Force, and we have added an ability to set an objective to upgrade that Magitech to Terra's version. So you get your Tech Missile, you get your X for Bioblast, I guess, if you're feeling weird. And typically that is assigned to completing the Magitech factory, but it doesn't have to be that.
Yeah, actually, I don't think the upgrade is in the seed, so I'm guessing they won't be using too much of the Magitech in the seed. I think they just grabbed her for the stats.
She's a good character.
The dragon counter, the number of dragons. So the dragons are not required. I too. But they're purely extras, so they're not required for any particular objective. They're just kind of a static part of the tracker, but we'll keep up with them for you.
Yeah, it's helpful information. I missed all of Gar's. I'm still learning this tracker.
Yeah, this is a different tracker that we have over on our channel, but we'll get it.
Yeah, I'm a big baby and I use an auto tracker typically, so.
Yeah.
So Gar kicked Mog out of the team, brought Realm in. I suppose that makes some sense. Maybe that's why he wasn't too worried about them. Yeah.
That could be one of those improv things where maybe Mog was low level from dying so much, so he just gave him the boot.
Yeah, that would make sense too. Yes, dragons are just XP and item drops. I believe in some seeds they can also affect scaling. I'm not sure about this one.
Let's see. So it'll affect. Interestingly, it affects your amount of XP that bosses will give is increased by killing dragons, but the levels in HP are not.
Oh, wild.
So dragons are extra beneficial. And yes, Master Mars, sorry about that. I don't have any mic boost. This is as loud as it gets, so apologies.
Yeah, we tried. Gar taking a trip up Mount Zozo to pick up the Esper that was the top of that. Meanwhile, Zenobian taking on Kefka at Narsh. Not a popular check, but better these days now with the changes to how Mog's checks work.
Yeah, definitely improved with a warp down to what's his name's house rather than having to make the climb all the way down.
Yeah, the way that it used to work was after the Kefka at Narsh check, it just spit you out back on top of that cliff up there, and it's just like, hey, good job. We're not calling you a cab. You have to walk out on your own. But since I want to say 1.2 or maybe 1.3, they changed it so that you zip down to Arvis's house right away, which is extra nice with Mog check, since that puts you right next to Moogle defense. Realms stomping into frame on Schwanz's screen. Making quick work of that Ultros. Get to see what Zenobian thought was worth the time. Seraphim, not too bad.
I think I saw that Fire 3 on there. I know I had Flare, but I probably won't be too interested in that.
Yeah, Flare is a nice spell, ignores defense, but the casting animation takes a minute and makes it a tougher prospect when you're in a racing sense.
Gar making use of the NPC cleave.
That guy shouldn't have been standing there.
I shouldn't have been standing there. We get our a taste of our newest check on Zenobian screen. Excuse me. The recently as of a couple months ago, added Moogle defense check. If anybody out there is still playing Worlds Collide and using the emo tracker, it doesn't have this check, so you may not know it exists. So this is down in the caves of Narsh where you first defend Terra with the Moogles. It's now a check.
Yep, you activate it by talking to Arvis, and then you come down here and you wait for these big weird guys to walk past you, and you go and you fight a boss. And now that also means that Marshall has been added to the game, a new as of a couple months ago, boss that his attacks are not, that complicated. He has a pretty high physical offense, so if you get unlucky, unlike Leader's gone, bye-bye Leader. So if you get unlucky with Marshall and he uses his little special physical attack, sometimes that can do upwards of 2,000 or 3,000 damage if you're not properly geared up. But the real worry is the two weirdos that show up with him. Typically some really high-powered endgame enemy. Like those, there's a couple of ninjas, there's some four-armed guys that use a zombie attack on you. Lots of nasty stuff.
Yeah, he usually shows up with Lobos, but we didn't want to add yet another boss that's a pushover like Leader, so we made a couple changes to make him at least a little bit challenging. Looks like Gar was at the auction house. He pulled up some Zelfer luck right at the start there with an early Esper, but then just got Bula and Amp Robot.
Gonna take another crack at it. Zenobian going through Esper Mountain at this point. Meanwhile, Schwantz heading through Daryl's tomb. It's a lot more variation now. The opening bids for all of the players was pretty similar, which kind of makes sense. There was a lot of good stuff in that Coliseum. But now that they've gone a ways in, they're kind of all over the place, which is neat.
Art picks up another XP egg in place of the hero ring. I don't think he probably needed it. I'm not sure if that's what he was after or if he's just eliminating an item to go get another Esper. But maybe he only picked up one XP egg at the Coliseum, and it looks like he's going back in.
Yeah, he probably was just getting rid of that slot. Unfortunately, Schwantz is playing. He's the guy that I learned the auction house stuff from, so I hope I get this right. There's a percentage chance of finding each check in it, and there's 3 of those checks are not repeatable. It's the two magicite and then what would normally be a hero ring. So here, Gar's found that second magicite, so this is it for him. But getting the hero ring item frees up chance to get the 2 actual check items, which is the way to go, but you still don't necessarily want to see it, especially if it turns out to be like a leather hat or something.
Right. Buying the 50k item will increase your odds of getting an Esper, but buying anything else will technically decrease your odds. So, but you can eliminate. You can buy everything in there and just roll the dice, and it becomes 50-50 imp or Esper. There's some other math in there, but that's pretty much the gist.
Gar running into I think this isn't vanilla. These guys are a little bit later in the dungeon. Oh!
Ouch. Good thing these guys, it looks like he's already burned 2 Phoenix Stones. He's going to get rid of number 3 here, but he's going to have to be a little careful.
Yeah, Gar
picking up at this point.
Gar taking some big hits. Some rough luck.
Plot for him is not doing well.
It's a cursed slot.
And I'm sure Schwantz's tracker is wrong. I've been paying too much attention to the other screens, so I'll try to see what his numbers are next time he opens the menu.
I don't believe I saw him go after Realm yet, although I believe he does have Umaro. So yeah, I think he should be up to five characters. Maybe?
Maybe. Where was Umaro?
He was in the Figaro cave, past in the tentacle spot.
Got it.
Gar getting a lot of work out of Rage Edgar here.
It's like Zenobian and Gar are doing the same check again. It's actually interesting how similar their route is. This is a character-gated seed, so their checks that they can do are limited, but when you know where everything is, you know where all the characters are, you know where all the Espers are, you'd figure there'd be a little bit of divergence, maybe, unless they both completely optimized, or make the same mistake, so we'll see.
Well, it was interesting. I remember Zenobian talking in the Discord channel before this about him thinking that his route was pretty non-standard and wasn't sure whether or not it was going to be optimal, but him and Gar are pretty much neck and neck.
Yeah,
at least with what they're doing.
I believe he said he picked a slow but fun route, so maybe Gar wants to have some fun too. Maybe, it's completely possible Schwantz just leapfrogged. Well, he doesn't actually, if the trackers are right, he's a little bit ahead right now. But, he's also going into Hauser's to grab himself a shadow.
I think they've all grabbed the same characters too at this point.
The seed must be pretty linear in terms of characters. Just in perusing the spoiler log, I think Sabin would have been a great character to find, just a cursory glance, but it must be, he must be down the rabbit hole a bit. Ah, yeah, so he's on Floating Continent. So actually, it'll be curious, I think they all need, they need 7 characters. This will be number, it's already number 7 for Gar, it looks like.
Yeah.
So, curious to see if they could go to the Floating Continent to grab an extra character and 2 Espers, and then potentially get the 9th character for the skip. But Floating Continent is a long, really long check, and there's some nasty bosses in there, so we'll see what the plan is.
Yeah, I can see the strategy of getting all of your characters in a row before you really start hammering in a bunch of magicite. You get a couple.
I would favor the other way in a routed race, because typically, like, if you want to stack up characters, that's fine when you don't know what they're where they are, because there are a lot fewer of them than Espers. But in this, you think you'd want those spells and Esper bonuses and whatnot to really make use out of them early. Because if you get them early, you get more bang for your buck.
Wow.
Again, with XP eggs and doing 7,000 hit cat scratches, you need spells or bonuses.
I can see the Gar doing a little dance there at the end. That was worth dancing over.
I still am curious of what that weapon is. It can't be an Illumina because it doesn't do the, the schwack animation like a sniper would.
Well, it might. God, I wonder if it's just goofiness with rage changing your weapon animation, because that's either I want to say Sniper or Hawkeye are the only two that have that little throw critical thing.
Yeah, I just thought, I thought I remember the animation just being different than that for either weapon or cat scratch in itself. But it's been a while since I've used Rage. I don't particularly like it. It's one of those things where it has to proc, and that's all right.
Yeah.
Which never works well for me.
Yeah, it's unfortunate how you can have that, the best plan in the world using this Rage. Yeah, that did pop up a couple times in the other ones, but the weird throwing animation was coming up too. Zenobian going after Doom.
I don't know why he would use any other weapon that doesn't have procs to that particular effect. What's Schwantz doing here?
Looks like he's an Albrook.
Oh, he got his shadow all of a sudden.
Yeah, Doom is not a quick fight, so there must be something Zenobian really wants at the end here. Or perhaps he's just going after the bosses that have the least amount of dungeon ahead of them.
Is this Search the Skies?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I don't think there's any other airship fights in the world of Ruin. Gar gonna pluck some tentacles off the mountain here.
Then it's a great weapon to have for the Doom fight. He doesn't care about his images and just using Pearl. So down he goes.
Yeah, only maybe 4 unique situations where Pearl isn't or Illumina isn't a great weapon to have. Unfortunately, one of those being the last boss.
Yeah. Yep. And you can bet. It looks like
Oh wow!
It is requirement. So
I've been missing a lot.
that's alright.
Let's ding that to 10. Good job, Zenobian. It was worth 5 Magicite that fight.
Yeah, and I think Gar, I'm not sure you got the ones from the auction house, or at least one of them.
Oh, you're right.
We'll see where. He's probably not far off here. Because he and Zenobian have kind of been neck and neck this whole time. I would imagine he probably needs one more. And Schwantz is probably pretty close too. Tracking is hard.
I didn't go to school for this.
So oh yeah, he is doing Lone Wolf. So Schwantz getting some different checks here. Might have been doing trifecta. This is for the balance, so he's going to pick up the free whatever this guy is, and probably hit up Kefket Marsh. And we'll see where he's at. Looks like
Yeah,
Gar's
Gar
doing
too.
the thing. So Zenobian into the tower first. The clear lead here. And he's got some good levels, so he's probably not in too much trouble. Looking good.
Let's switch over to the Kefka Tower audio since he's in there. Walking right past all these chests. Ready to go, Zenobian. Definitely had a lot of good luck at the Coliseum early on. Didn't take, I think he took maybe 1 or 2 wipes versus, I want to say, everybody else had several. Maybe not Schwantz, with the magnificent fixed dice strategies. Magnificent, beautiful, glorious fixed dice strategy.
Not sure about that right now.
Gar picking up his Kieran, and it looks like that would have been number 9. And yeah, just going to take on Kefka at Narsh since it's right there, and that should put him in position to head into the tower right after Zenobian.
Let's see what we've got waiting for us in Kefka's tower.
Yeah, it's a bit of a walk to get to the first boss, but yeah, this first chunk, nobody. I don't know if Gar is going to go after it or not, but Zenobian did not elect to go for the skip, so he is going to walk the whole way through.
Yep, looks like you won't have too much issue with the bosses in here. There's nothing especially devastating. If they want to, they could fight Toilet Atma and get an Illumina out of the field. It kind of depends on if they need another Illumina or not.
Yeah, it kind of seems like the big strategy with the Coliseum early on was get everybody at endgame equipment right now, and then just book it afterwards. Just don't look at anything on the side of the road. We're not here. We're not going to Wall Drug. We're not going to go see the giant ball of twine. We've got to go fight a clown. Gar taking a quick sip of the bucket.
I don't believe multi-summon is on in this set. It's not, so they're gonna have to be judicious with that Phoenix Expert in their. However, we don't have I don't have a boss count here, but here, like within the tower, is probably where we might start seeing some of these negative rewards, if you want to call them. So, for example, at 13 bosses, they're going to add 8 to 10 boss levels to every boss fight. At 14 bosses killed, they're going to add another 10 levels of bosses, two boss fights. And then if they hit 15 bosses killed, they're going to add 10 levels to all of Final Kefka. I don't think we'll probably get any higher than that, but there are a few more, then they get even more devastating as you go up. If they hit 17 bosses killed, everybody gets auto seizure, which, if you hit Fallen One, well, you're toast. So.
Yeah, 17 is where it gets scary. At 20 bosses, they are all afflicted with auto muddle, which I don't think you want that to happen.
Yeah. Luckily, I mean, there are barely 20 bosses you fight in a seed, so I don't think we'll be seeing that, but that would be fun. Here's the example of our new Marshall friends on Zenobian's screen. The logos have been replaced with tap dancers. Not one of the super deadly ones, but a little more of a challenge.
I believe they have. Are these the ones that throw, or am I thinking of the ninja-looking guys?
Well, this sprite can do some throwing at some point, but I'm not sure if it's Tap Dancer or the other one.
You know, the red ones do it. Gar heading his way into the tower too at 55-52.
Like Schwantz is going to grab his. Looks like Schwantz is going to go for the skip because he just grabbed his 8th character. So maybe he's got so he could do some catching up here. Zenobian has just hit the I believe just hit the tower bosses, so Schwantz is really going to have to hustle if he wants to catch up, but it's possible. We'll see where his ninth character is. I mean, if indeed that's what he's doing. I assume he didn't want Drago for no reason.
Yeah, when if a player's picking up a character or Esper over the limit, it's because it's step one for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It looks like his ninth character is in Ebbets Rock, which we could be here all night.
This is a play. That's very interesting. This is it's a randomized dungeon, so it's already does not comport to your preferences. I'm not a big fan of it either personally, but it's one of those checks that feels worse than it is. So it can still be a decent option depending on what your other options are.
Yep, it can be quick. It just never feels quick.
Right.
Although, I don't remember who it was. Somebody in the community a month or two ago got basically perfect RNG in the Ebbets Rock here. As in, every chest they hit had 5 coral in it, and immediately after getting his final chords, coral sent him right to the chest. Like I think in like 6 moves, which is unheard of. That was pretty good.
That's a really good way to just ruin your running habits forever.
Let's just go right back to Ebbets Rock.
Like, this place is great.
Yeah, no. Yeah, we've seen Schwantz hit the final coral chest, I don't know, 4 or 5 times already before he had enough coral. So that 5 piece he just picked up is probably enough to put him in go mode, Ebbets Rock go mode. And if that wasn't, then it certainly is now. So we'll see how long it takes him to get to the switch. Meanwhile, Zenobian is just climbing through these bosses, and Gar is not far behind. It looks like I think he's at the Inferno spot.
Yeah, cranes are at Inferno. And they got some tricks up their sleeve, but fortunately, with access to all the different pieces of armor that they've had access to, I think both Gar and Zenobian at least. I haven't been paying as much attention to Schwantz's screen, so I apologize for that. But Gar and Zenobian both have really incredible elemental resistances. Whole lot of zeros.
Yeah, Schwantz is. I mean, he's got the same XP eggs. His HP certainly doesn't look as high, but that's probably because he just hasn't healed in a while. But these, swings are doing pretty good. He does have that benefit of Goddess pointing the other way, so that one swing did massive amounts of damage, but it's doubled because he's facing the other way, or she's facing the other way, or 1 times 1.5, something like that. But
yeah, I think it's 50%.
Doesn't look as high as the other 2 guys at this moment.
I did notice popped the fixed dice there on Cyan with the Dragoon boots and the Dragon Horn, which is a good way to kind of cut back on some of the sting that fixed dice has, which is that really long attack animation.
So
Still doing random damage, but at the very least you don't have to watch it happen in real time.
So that's the skip for Schwantz. If he bolts right now, he'll be pretty much... He's still going to be a tad bit behind Gar with all the animations and travel time, but they'll be neck and neck. Zenobian's still in the clear lead. But now it's going to be all down to pretty much luck on Final Kefka for Zenobian. See how many times he gets zombied or frozen or who knows what else. But clearly in pole position.
I just noticed now that Gar was switching around Moogle Charms because there's only the one. Completely missed that in the flag set at the beginning.
That's right. Why, I don't know, but that's what it is.
Because it's funny, I guess.
I guess. There were Moogle Charms for sale in South Figaro for 11 GP, so a smart move would have been to go head to that item shop real quick and buy a couple, but I don't know if anybody did.
Yeah, that's a steal.
And here's Zenobian on the switches at 1 hour and 1 minute, so he's not wasting any time, headed right in, and Schwantz is he's 1 fight behind Zenobian.
Yeah, didn't even double check his equipment going in. Just stepped right on those switches, super confident.
Yeah, I guess when you get all the best equipment in the game within the first 7 minutes, you not much need to turn back.
Yeah, it's pretty safe to assume that you're doing good.
Gar having pretty beefy luck with these cat scratch procs too.
Yeah, that was 4 in a row there.
What's that like?
Ooh.
Ooh, that's gonna hurt. Oh, and he's raged, so he cannot.
Yeah.
So, well, really, it just means Realm's not going to get the benefit of this XP, provided Edgar lives. But that's another Phoenix down for Gar. So I think he'll have 2 or 3 left for final catch-up. So we'll see how he handles that. But probably faster than resetting and doing this fight again.
Yeah, especially at this point. Might as well just go through with it. I imagine in the final fight, I don't know if anybody learned Life 3, but everybody does have a Phoenix Esper.
Yep.
So that can be a nice little freebie to have.
Yep. Although in excuse me, in Tier 2, you usually get a couple dispels coming your way. So,
oh, that's true.
You may want to cast it. You could cast it right from the beginning because this Tier 1 can smack you around pretty good. Or you could wait till after you kill magic in Tier 2 to guarantee it doesn't get dispelled.
Yeah, I probably would fire it off in Tier 1 because I'm terrified by that physical damage that they can put out, especially if you just have the wrong character queued up to kill the wrong part at the wrong time and they eat a shockwave or whatever.
Especially, excuse me. So Gar is going to be. Oh, looks like Gar forgot to swap his Moogle Charm. But Gar is also running Rage. He's using Cat Scratch, which is untargetable, which means your odds of getting a bad counterattack are a lot higher. So those Life 3s and Phoenix Downs are going to be extra valuable to Gar. Zenobian, seemingly not having much trouble here. I didn't even notice this before. I don't know when he cooked this up, but he's got Merton going now.
Oh, hey, Realm heals up Realm. She was taking a lot of elemental damage before this, so that's probably pretty nice to have the one character that isn't taking zeros from every other spell gain 2,000 HP every time you cast this one.
Yep. That's nice.
So I guess a quick primer on the final boss of this game, because it's a little bit complicated. It's 4 tiers total, with 3 of these weird little piles of what have you that have multiple targets. The first one was a little bit more straightforward, lots of physical damage and counterattacks, so you want to kill them in the right order. The second one is a little bit more complicated. Each of these parts does something different. That guy in the back that just took a lightning bolt, he casts a bunch of spells. The tiger head has a zombie attack and is weak to ice. The fella in the underwear up front, he just punches you a lot. He loves it. And that kind of weird little mass right next to the lady in the red there in the middle is tools, and it uses a lot of unreflectable monster ability type moves. Your tech lasers, your atomic that big laser thing they just did.
Tile attacks.
Lots of weaknesses. You can mute the guy that casts spells. You can cast instant death on tools. Lady in red in the middle.
I don't know if we just saw what happened there, but Schwantz just used Gao to possess big green man. Out there, took him out the game. So that's certainly saved him some time. But now he doesn't have his possessed character, which honestly I thought was not. I didn't know if possess was in this game. But he's gone now, so can't make use of it in the final battles. But that would rely on sending a character you don't have. You're not a primary character into the final battles, or rely on someone dying. So I approve of this usage.
Yeah, Fun Baba is an obnoxious boss, so that's not a bad spot to use it. And yeah, like you said, making sure that Gao stays alive for the entire final battle would be kind of rough.
It's like Schwantz either forgot to swap warps or Moogle charms, or he's just saying, "I think I can get out of here without hitting something." But he didn't. There goes Gar, 5 minutes behind Zenobian, and Schwantz one fight behind Gar.
Yeah, everybody pretty even. All one right after the other coming on up. Schwantz using the skip to, I think, gain a bunch of ground. I think that was definitely the right call.
Yep.
So yeah, really, unless... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, unfortunately for Schwantz, Zenobian is just cruising right through this final boss battle, not having any trouble, so... but you never know. Still a little bit more fight to go.
Yeah, I guess unless Zenobian gets really unlucky with a double Meteo or something out of this, they're probably going to walk away with it.
Resorted to... Oh, wait, no. That must have been a... Never mind, Sword Talk. I thought he was casting Flare. It's like that. I don't know why he would do that, but that was the right thing. So out come the Meteos.
Yeah, if this doesn't kill, Setzer's in danger, but nope, there's Calmness. It's all good. Didn't even need Golem.
As is often the case.
And I guess, yeah, especially since they've got all of our runners now have as many Illuminas as they wanted to spend the time to get.
Looks like Gar cast Float because he's
That's good.
Relying on that cat scratch, which you never know where it's going to hit. But it looked like he accidentally single-targeted it the first time because only Setzer was floating there and had to cast it again. Oh, it looks like he's going Genji Glove, offering perhaps with his cat scratcher for the big damage output.
Yeah, I get it, because Cat Scratch, it's just a yes or no thing. So either it happens or it doesn't, and if it does happen, it applies to all of the attacks. That's not who you want to get petrified in this fight, unfortunately.
Yep, he's going to either have to refloat him or hope he can tank the Quake, or really just not even worry about raging anymore. And yeah, it looks like he's already killed the head, so he's good.
Zenobian on the final fight. Less complicated, but a little bit more dangerous than the other ones. Kefka does have a lot of... Most of the time, he's going to counterattack you with something, but if he's right now, like for example, right now, using his Goner charge, this is the time to unload with everything you got on him. And avoid one of those nasty counterattacks.
Yeah, I didn't see how much damage he's done, but... I think that did it.
And that does do it. GG's to Zenobian at 109.48 on my end. Let's see if that's the true time. Yep, 109.48.
Cool, well done. Nice first place. Gar is moving on to tier 2, and oh, looks like Schwantz had found the Phantom Esper to take care of tier 1.
Yeah, that works.
Another one? So, yeah, Phantom is great for tier 1 because it's all physical attacks except for if he decides to use reverse polarity on you, which will immediately remove all of your invisible. And also, it will guarantee you get petrified if he uses whatever that thing is called. I can't think of that.
Oh, like Demon Eye or whatever it is.
Well, that's,
oh, no, wait, no, that's Shoat.
It's, you know, it does have a bunch of little eyes. I don't know, I can't think of it. It's the stony thing.
That thing that makes you rock.
So, we'll have to see if we can get Zenobian in here for a quick chat.
Dread, thank you, chat.
Yeah, for one. Oh, look at Green Monkey. That's a know-it-all. Get him, Monkey. Thanks. Oh, God. Cyan got zombied, and then
Oh my!
took Realm immediately out the game, so that's trouble for Guard.
We do have Zenobian here with us. GG, Zenobian.
Good evening. Can you hear me all right?
Yep, coming in good.
Perfect, perfect. So how many Coliseum fights is too many Coliseum fights?
Well, apparently the 27 you did worked out just fine.
It's the exact number.
Yeah, we were talking about that at the start of the game, because there's a lot of stuff available from the Coliseum, but it's a matter of how much time do you want to spend getting it. And it seemed like everybody put in pretty much the same amount of time in the Coliseum and got all this stuff.
Oh, interesting. I didn't think anyone else would be like, yeah, 12 Coliseum fights, let's do that. That sounds great. Because honestly, it feels really risky, because that was like 6 straight minutes of progression time that I just didn't have. I was kind of weighing it against the fact that by doing that, I would not have to open any other boxes for the rest of the game, except for that Genji glove. So I feel like that's kind of a fair trade. I had my endgame, helmet, and armor for everyone, eggs for everybody, and yeah, no more looting. So it felt kind of good and bad at the same time.
Yeah, there were a couple nasty fights in there. I think some people got tripped up just from dying in the Coliseum, which is where a lot of time was spent too.
Yeah, that first solo chicken lips can be quite dangerous since they have the ability to cast Quake. But once you get that first Minerva and half their damage, it was safe after that, because they also killed themselves with Quake.
So yeah, when you decided to spend all that time in the Coliseum, was that your first pick, or did you just kind of notice that, like, oh, all of the stuff that I want is here, I don't have to worry about going to a bunch of shops? Or did you read through the whole thing and just figure, like, okay, this is the best course of action?
When looking through the spoiler log, I try to identify where high-power items are available fairly early, and in this particular seed, aside from that Ragnarok that I grabbed out of the mines at the start, there's really not that much. Like, the shops were pretty barren. There's, like, no weapons in chests anywhere besides that first rag, no good armor anywhere. It was pretty much, the Coliseum was really the only option. So I guess that does make sense that everyone went there, now that I think about it, because everywhere else was pretty garbo.
Yeah, I think a dragon had an Illumina, and I think there was like well, that's not offense, but I was saying there are other things that checks like XP eggs and force shields and whatnot. But yeah, in terms of offense, I think there was one dragon and one check, and that's pretty much it. So.
Yep, I did that dragon quite early. I was like level 10 or 11 or so. I didn't know how that would work out, but thankfully it didn't kill anyone. I wanted to get that Illumina early because otherwise Cyan was just kind of dead weight until we get all the way to Realm, and it was kind of linear. You had to get Umaro and then had to get Realm. There was no other path besides that.
Yeah, we kind of figured it was pretty linear because everybody, up until the last, I don't know, 10-15 minutes before KT, everyone pretty much did all the exact same stuff.
Yeah, it was very, very linear up until Realm. And from Realm you could get Shadow, and Shadow branched out a bit further into more characters, but at that point you have 7 characters already. Unless you wanted to do the skip, you could get Strago very quickly at Gao's dad's house, and Locke very quickly somewhere else, but Locke was guarded by Magimaster, so I threw that idea out the window.
Guard just toasted Sleep with an 8-hit cat.
Ooh. Yes! One shot, Kefka, come on, do it.
Guard's an Obian, that Guard's just maybe do it.
Holy
Nice.
crap.
That's it. Just rocking.
That is awesome.
Zenobian, and did you take into account the objectives like the boss kills and whatnot? Did you try to keep your boss kill count down, or was that not a concern?
It was definitely a concern. I knew, like, in the previous 2 seeds in the tournament, I never even got close to, well, I got to like 13. This one, 14 seemed pretty mandatory because of the kind of linear route. You had to do a dead check to get to Realm, so that added in an extra boss because Tritalk was in the way. So that felt kind of bad. But the only way I could have reduced the boss count would have been if I did the second auction instead of doing Doomgaze, but you know how much I hate that auction house. If I don't have to be there, I don't want to be there.
Yeah, that was the strategy Guard took. I think he spent a bit of time in the auction house and managed to pull Zelfra look on number 1 and then got an imp on number 2. So that was, you know, I don't like the auction house either. And luckily, in the newly released version 1.3, you can set how many rewards you want in that auction house, just to give everybody a little more agency over whether they want to do it or not. But I digress. Zenobian, GG's again. Any final thoughts on the routed race here as our tournament of the month winner?
Well, I love spoiler log races. I love the routing aspect. I find it a ton of fun. That's why I picked this flag set as my last entry from my last tournament of the month win. I know it's not the most popular thing, but we very, very rarely do these kind of races, so I wanted to get it out there, get some more people to, you know, give it a try, see if it's their thing or not, because it's probably my favorite kind of flag set. So I'm glad that we got it out there, some people tried it, hope they had fun, hope everyone enjoyed these flags, and look forward to something more widely appealing for my next entry to the wheel.
Well, I'm right there with you. I do enjoy a good routed race, a plando, if you will.
Yeah, this was my first time seeing it, so I'm fascinated by the idea of having everything set up ahead of time.
Well, thank you,
Cool.
Thank you guys very much for commentating this tonight. I will get out of y'all's way and let you give good old Gar his interview. Good game, Gar. I heard you one-shot Final Kefka. You love to see it. Hope you had fun in this tournament as well.
Yeah, I actually want to hear a lot of your points regarding routing. I think it's a ton of fun, and I think that a lot of people should get into it.
Thanks, Zenobian. Congrats again. We'll see you in the next one.
Thanks. Y'all have a good night.
Congrats, Nobian.
Have a good night. So, Gar, congratulations on a extremely cool Final Kefka. As Schwantz finishes up too.
Yeah, look at that. GG Schwantz, and yeah, you know, I had to one-shot Final Kefka for the swag points.
Oh yeah, you got him too. How are you enjoying Rage Edgar? Because like Rage is a pretty freaky thing to hinge your entire offense on, since you can't target it. You don't even necessarily know if Cat Scratch is going to come out. What was your prep to make sure that Rage worked the way you wanted it to work?
Oh, there wasn't even really any prep at all. My strategy was basically, let's get Edgar Stray Cat, and then it becomes Edgar just beating up on everybody, and it doesn't even matter like when anybody else does. I guess it matters a little bit, but he's either going to hit 4 times or he's going to hit 4 times with Cat Scratch on. So in either case, I still feel pretty good about it.
So you did take some rough luck at the Coliseum early on. What were you looking for in the Coliseum? We saw a lot of people grabbing experience eggs. We saw a lot of people grabbing cat hoods. What was your wish going into that Coliseum?
Yeah, so I wanted an Illumina, I wanted an Offering, I wanted 2 eggs, I wanted 2 cat hoods, and I wanted an Ice Shield, although I probably could have done without it. It was obviously the eggs are the big thing. Early eggs are basically the single best thing that you could possibly get. And then Illumina, obviously, just working for the end game there.
All right. GG's Gar. Congratulations on your time of 116. Anything else that you wanted to say before we let you go?
No. Congrats to Zenobian. He finished very quickly, and I'm going to be super interested to watch his run later on.
All right. Thank you very much, and you have a great night.
Thanks. Y'all take care.
And finally, we have the Schwantz27 in. GG Schwantz.
Yo, what's up, crew? What's going on?
Not too much. So, first thing that comes to mind is you were the only runner to go after the skip. Was that something that you were planning from the beginning, or was that sort of a backup plan you had in case you felt that maybe you were running a little behind?
I changed my routing 2 times during the race. I know that when the auction house has the model airship, that it shows up way more often than I think it does, and I decided, you know what? I'm gonna waste so much time in the auction house. Let's go instead get another Esper. But oh wait, that means I have to fight another boss, which is bad, right? So then I was looking at my boss count and I said, hey, I can get 1 character for free and 1 more character gets me skip, and I only have to do 1 more boss, but it's comes out in the wash because then you skip the Inferno spot, right? So I'm not actually doing an extra boss and I get to skip. So the question was, how long is it going to take me to get those 2 characters? Unfortunately, Epit's Rock did not want to play with me tonight. But usually if it's about, less than 5 to 7 minutes, it's going to save you some time. So that's sort of what I calculated is, well, if Epit's Rock plays nice, then I could actually save time by getting the skip. It played somewhat nice, but that was sort of my thought process anyway, as far as going to get the skip was concerned.
Yeah, we saw you headed to Epit's Rock right at the end, and by then we knew what you were doing. But it was like, uh-oh, yeah, that's a gamble. Although, Epit's Rock, like we were saying on stream, it's usually faster than it feels.
Oh,
but, it can certainly eat up some clock. So,
let me tell you, at the end of the run, it feels slow no matter how fast it is.
Well, so you had a different route. Well, actually, I think everybody kind of hit the same. I think this is a fairly linear seed, and so
yeah,
everybody kind of did most of the same stuff. But Gar and Zenobian did theirs in pretty much the same order, and you kind of hit a few things at the back half. So it was a little harder to tell where you were in relation to them in terms of progress. But when you got your skip done, you dropped in right after Gar finished his Guardian check fight, whatever was there.
Awesome.
So you're really only one fight behind.
Yeah, that's really what you're hoping for with the skip. So that's awesome to hear.
But then Gar broke out the octa-hit cat scratch and just laid waste to Planet Gecko. So
yeah, I did not even look at the rage list to see if cat scratch was a default one. And now that I'm looking at the spoiler log, I don't think it is. So he must have.
It wasn't. He found some cats. I think outside Doma.
What a lucky Leo. Yeah. So my thought process going into sort of these plandos is take your 3 characters and figure out what the seed tree is going to be, right, in order to progress to 7. And unfortunately with this seed, Mog led to nothing, right, which is one of our not starting. He was the character that was in Coal Engine. Setzer also led to just Mog, which led to nothing. And Cyan had no characters in any of his checks, right? So we were stuck going down to get Umaro, and then obviously Umaro only opens up 1 check, which is Realm, and Realm only opens up 2 checks. So that's why the seed was kind of linear until you hit Shadow, and then of course Shadow has 3 characters in his checks. So that's where the seed opens up. By that point, you're already at your character requirements. So I knew that my first 4 characters were going to be very strong, and I had pins from the get-go that for Mog, he was going to use magic, so I wanted to get the Espers with the best spells as early as possible, and that was Doma, World of Balance, and World of Ruin. They had, tier 3 elemental spells on those Espers. Golem was a +2 magic power, so if I got that at the very beginning of the seed, I knew I could pump, the magic power way up on Mog. And then Setzer had Throw, And then I figured out, oh, this is going to be a Boo commented stream. Let me go get Boots and Horn so I could, get the commentator's favor. But that's sort of how I planned out the route. I actually cut out like 4 other different things in my opener, and I think I probably spent too much time at the beginning of the seed. Running into Doomgaze by accident and getting a Coliseum wipe was not in the plan. So those things costed me a little bit of time. And I also forgot about the one Moogle Charm thing until I got into Kefka's Tower. So I don't know if any of the other runners remembered that or not.
At least one other one.
Yeah, I think I know.
A random encounter.
Yeah, Gar did at least once. I don't know if Zenobian did. I think he might have figured that out.
Yeah, thank goodness I had smoke bombs. Yeah,
right. Yeah, there was a Moogle Charm available. Only $11.
Yeah, that's feels bad because in my previous 2 seeds, I definitely picked up on that, used that to my advantage over the other runners, and this time I was on the other end of that, which is unlucky. So it'll be interesting to see the run back. Obviously, with a planned race, most of the time goes into the planning, and then the execution is just, how well can you do the things you set out to do? And even with cutting stuff out, it seems that I was the least efficient player in this race, but it feels good to be in the finals anyway. So
yeah, the good news is you did it 3rd best in the entire tournament. So GG's on your finals finish.
Thank you. Also fun get to use Possess. That's not something you get to do every day. As soon as I saw Gawith Possess, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm gonna put him on the hardest boss just so that he can blow it away. And that Fun Bobby, see you later.
Yeah, I really like that because Fun Baba's a pain. Not tough necessarily, but usually has a boatload of HP.
Yeah. The Guardian fight, I felt okay because I had Mog and Bolt 3 in that party, so I'm like, well, he's going to do quad 9s, 3 turns, that thing's dead. Fun Baba's a different story, right? I didn't have any poison magic, if you will, so I just said, you know what, let's put my big sword swinger over there, and turns out I didn't have to do anything with Possess, which is great. So always cool to see that go off. But anyway, you guys got any last questions? Otherwise, we'll get the heck out of here.
Nope.
Yeah, I think I'm good. GG's to everybody. GG's to Schwantz, Gar, and Zenobian, the winner of this tournament of the month.
Yeah.
Please follow them. They're fantastic runners. They're usually playing this game. I know a lot of us are branching out into other stuff, so please follow the runners. They put on a great show for us tonight.
Yeah, and follow our commentary crew. Thank you, Boo and Tersman, for hopping in and doing the commentary and the tracking. Can't have the race without you guys, so thanks a lot. Really appreciate that, and hope to see you guys in the future. And good luck taking us out.
Thanks, Schwantz.
All right, see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Take us home, Tersman.
All right. Well, that is going to do it for us tonight here on SpeedGaming 3. This has been Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide. You can check it out at ff6worldscollide.com. You can roll your own seeds there. You can play around with all the different settings, learn them flag sets, figure out exactly how you want to play this game. It doesn't have to be a race. You can set something up to just kind of casually stroll through. It's a lot of fun, especially if this is a game that you've played 100 times, at backwards and forwards. This is a really fun way to experience a classic anew. Also, you can go ahead and join us on our Discord. There's a link to that on the FF6 Worlds Collide page. Lots of great people there. We love talking about this game. We love answering questions. So please come check us out. And I think that'll probably do it for us. Thank you, Boo, for commentating with me tonight.
I know. Back at you. Thanks, everybody, for watching.
Have a good night.
Bye.